Okay, welcome everyone. We'd like to start the circle with a mantra, Asato mantra. Asato ma sangamaya Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya Mrityormamritangamaya Shanti Shanti Shanti. This mantra means from untruth to truth, from darkness to light, from mortality to immortality. May we all know peace. And Shanti means peace, and we say it 3 times. 1 time for yourself, 1 time for your teacher, the people with you, and then last time for everyone in the world. So again, welcome here. I'm Claire. For those who don't know me, I will introduce myself briefly. I'm a Yoga Nidra teacher. I'm also counseling in Ayurveda, which is the traditional medicine from India. And Ayurveda means the art of living or the science of living. And I'm not going to go into a lot of details about Ayurveda, but just to explain very briefly, basically and very simply, we use the 5 elements of earth, water, air, fire, and space, which is also called ether or akash in Sanskrit. We use these 5 elements to allow people to come to balance. And I'm also passionate about the moon and about Jyotish. Jyotish does the Vedic Astrology, and that means science of light. And it's also called the Eye of the Vedas because it can see everything. It sees the past, the present, the future. And in Vedic astrology, the moon is the most important because it represents the mind and the emotions and our inner self. And Jyotish also works with the zodiac constellations that we all know. And each of them are associated with an element. So again, earth, water, fire, and air. And space is the container for the 4 other elements. And it has a lot of special things that tropical astrology don't have, Western astrology don't have. But one of them is the nakshatras. And the nakshatras, they are 27 stars. Basically, they are sections of the sky that the moon will visit during its orbit around the Earth. And it's a subdivision of a constellation, basically. And each of them have a very special, unique energy. And it will influence us on the physical level, but mostly on the emotional level. Each time the moon visits a nakshatra, the emotions are involved. And so switching from one nakshatra to the next, it will switch slightly the emotional landscape for us. And so, yeah, I mix a little bit of all of that into this Yoga Nidra offering to allow everyone to come to balance and find harmony in their life. So for anyone who hasn't practiced Yoga Nidra before, I have a video explaining in detail already on YouTube. So I'm just gonna recap quickly here, and I will put the link to the other video in the description. But Yoga Nidra, that means yogic sleep. And so basically, it's a technique of conscious relaxation where the body will come to rest as if it was falling asleep, but the mind will stay awake. And it's very easy. All you need to do is lie down and close your eyes and allow yourself to be guided by my voice. It's really effortless, but still it has a lot of power. It's quite incredible, actually, because you really go deep inside, and that gives you an opportunity to heal and to discover yourself in a more in a deeper way, in a different way. So it's not only relaxation, it allows you to access that subconscious mind and to remind you that you have the power, the inner power to experience bliss. It's not something that is outside of you. And you can realize that by reprogramming yourselves. And that's happening during Yoga Nidra through a step that we use that is called Sankalpa. And Sankalpa means a vow that is aligned to your highest truth. And with that, we're actually going to plant the seed of a dream into the subconscious mind. And I'm going to guide you through that process during the Yoga Nidra, so you don't need to know much about it right now. But if you don't already have a Sankalpa, just know that it's preferable to have it being in the present, like a short sentence in the present, like something that has already happened and manifested in your life, so that you can call it in, not something that you wish for, but something as if it was happened. No, not as if it was happening, as if it had happened already. It's there. And as I said, it means vow aligned to your highest truth. So that's really coming from your heart. It's not coming from the ego. That's something that will make you a better person so that the world can become a better place. And I invite you to reflect on something that you would like to manifest in your life that is aligned to this. If you don't already have a Sankalpa, if you already have a Sankalpa and you feel good with it, keep it, because it's going to work over time, right? So it's best to work with the same, unless it has manifested already, or unless you feel a change of heart, like something else really needs to you would like to manifest something else instead, something else matters to you most now, then you can change it. But otherwise, if you change it each time, it's unlikely that it's gonna manifest, because you're just planting a seed. So you need to tend to that seed so that it can grow, so you can use it for a while until it manifested, or until you decide that it's no longer what you need. All right. Is there any questions so far before we go into the structure of the circle and we go into the theme of this new moon? Nothing. All right. So, the structure for today, we're going to go through the theme of this new moon, as I said, and then we're going to go through a pranayam, a breathing exercise with a mudra, which is a hand gesture, and that will help us to prepare for the practice of Yoga Nidra. And then there will be a Yoga Nidra practice for the members of Mosqoy, the private circle. And at the end of that, we are going to close with sharing, if anybody feels like sharing after the practice. All right, so this new moon is in Pushya. So again, I'm just going to describe the new moon. So really, at the time where the moon is with the sun in the sky, we cannot see her and she's dark. It's actually more like the new moon and the energy is very low, so it's very good for resting. But as soon as she moves slightly away from the sun, she passes it by, then the energy starts to grow. And this is a very good time to set an intention for the cycle, for the moon cycle. And so with what we described with the Sankalpa, Yoga Nidra is a lovely practice to really, well, you can practice it every day. Actually, I would recommend that. But it's a very good practice to have, at least, at the beginning of a moon cycle, because then it really sets the energy for the upcoming cycle. And so where the moon is at in the sky at the time of the new moon is going to set the energy for the entire cycle. And so where it was yesterday, because the new moon was yesterday, was in Pushya. And Pushya is a nakshatra located in the constellation of Cancer. So it is related to the water element. And the way that Vedic astrology represents Cancer is the oceans. This is the water in the atmosphere. and Cancer is associated with the moon. So having a moon cycle starting in a water sign, in the water sign of Cancer, that is associated with the moon, that means the moon is happy in that place. It's a very auspicious place. Not the most auspicious place for the moon, but a very good one still. And Cancer, it brings sensitivity and protection and caring. It's associated with the image of the mother. And it will bring us more, it will encourage more intuition, and it will give us the ability to nurture others as well as ourselves. And it also invites us to turn inward and listen to our emotions a little bit more. So it's a lovely constellation because, yeah, it's very caring and supportive. And in particular, Pushya, actually, when we talk about Cancer, even in Western astrology, I think Pushya is actually the most common association with Cancer. You actually have other nakshatras located in the constellation of Cancer, but they don't feel the same. Pushya probably represents Cancer the most in everybody's mind, because this is called the star of nourishment, and it brings support and nourishment and spiritual elevation. So it's really that motherly, caring, very supportive energy. Emotional, yes, because of the water element, but well, that depends on how you feel and what's going on in your life. So it could be a bit tender, but it could be just very emotional and in a lovely way. And so if we compare it to the last cycle, with Ardra in Gemini, Ardra was represented by the tears, the teardrop. It was emotional, but much more like sorrow and sadness. This is different. That can be too, if this is what's still going on in your life, but it's actually very supportive and loving. So that should feel a lot better. And some symbols that are used to represent Pushya, one of them is the lotus, the flower, which is very significant spiritually in India. So that's that connection with the spiritual elevation that Pushya brings. And also the cow's udder. So it's to tell you how nourishing it is. And yeah, it's like, being nourished by the milk from the mother, from the cow. The cow is very sacred also in India. So yeah, that has really that very strong connection of nurturing, and nurturing spiritually as well as emotionally. Do you have any question before we move into the pranayama? We will go in more detail into Pushya and the Yoga Nidra as well. All good? Okay, so the pranayama today is going to be Ujjayi. So for someone who is practicing yoga asana, you probably have heard that one before. That's the ocean breath. I thought that it was very called for, knowing that we are in the constellation of represented by the oceans. So Ujjayi is just a constriction at the pit of the throat when you inhale and exhale. Each time that you inhale and exhale, it has that you do that constriction at the pit of the throat that will create an ocean wave like sound. Some people also, if you want to imagine the sound, it's like Darth Vader, if you really exaggerate it, breathing. So I can try. I know it doesn't really work well because the system I use to protect the external sound recognize Ujjayi breath as something that shouldn't be in the mic. So you will probably not hear it, but just in case it does work, I'm gonna demonstrate. So you may have not heard it, Probably not yet, but yeah, it was worth trying. But yeah, it's really constricting at the pit of the throat, and it's like hearing the waves, coming and going. And we're gonna do that 12 times. Well, 12 rounds. So one round is one inhale, one exhale of that breathing with the constriction at the pit of the throat all the time. And we're gonna do a hand gesture with that, which is a mudra. And this one is Abhaya Hridaya Mudra. And that means the fearless heart. So it's a bit funny to do. If it's too complicated, you can forget about it and do something else, just do the regular Jnana Mudra. But the way you're going to do it, so I'm going to show higher, but basically you should have your hands towards your heart. And instead of being palms against palm, you're going to put the back of the hands together. And then those three fingers, so middle, ring, and pinky finger, they're gonna come together, right? Right. And then you do a circle with the thumb and the index finger, like this. And you keep as much as you can the fingers together. That's lovely. And then you bring it at the level of the heart. Any question about the mudra? Feels good? Okay. And so why we're doing this one is because it increases courage and the inner strength in us, and it opens and balances the heart chakra, Nahata. And it's going to help us to deepen self-love and compassion. And in general, it improves our emotional well-being and revitalizes our life force. It's also very good to support heart health overall. But yeah, the level of love and compassion and emotional balance that it brings is going very well with Pushya, I think. So, if you feel ready, you can keep the mudra as it is. You can sit in a cross-leg posture if you can, or use your right ankle above your left ankle if you are just seated in a chair. And then you can exhale and slowly close your eyes and prepare to breathe at your own rhythm with the Ujjayi breathing. Again, we're going to do 12 rounds. One cycle is one inhale, one exhale with the constriction at the pit of the throat. And we're going to do 12 rounds of that. Ready? And when you're ready and you're finished with the 12 rounds, you can release the mudra and slowly prepare to lie down for Yoga Nidra.